Power doesn't always arrive with armies. Sometimes it arrives with cables, warehouses, and machines humming in silence. The most powerful forces in history rarely announce themselves. They don't demand attention, they become unavoidable. That is exactly what is happening right now. Everyone sees artificial intelligence as software, apps, chatbots, interfaces. But software is only the surface. The real question is far more uncomfortable. Who controls the ability to create intelligence at scale? Because whoever controls that doesn't just participate in the future, they shape it. This is not a tech story. This is a story about power. At the center of this shift sits one company. NVIDIA began in 1993 as a graphics chip company focused on improving how computers rendered images for games and visual effects. For a long time, NVIDIA was seen as specialized, important but not strategic, successful but not foundational. Then something changed. The same chip architecture that made graphics smoother turned out to be perfect for something entirely different. Parallel processing, the ability to perform thousands of calculations at the same time. At first, this mattered for pixels. Later, it became the core requirement for artificial intelligence. While the world debated whether AI would matter, whether it was hype, whether it was dangerous, NVIDIA was quietly solving the hardest problem first. How to make intelligence computable at scale? Most companies sell products. Infrastructure companies define what is possible. Roads don't decide where you go, but without them, movement stops. Electricity doesn't choose winners, but without it, nothing functions. NVIDIA crossed this line without fanfare. It stopped being a component supplier. It became a foundational layer. Today, NVIDIA hardware underpins artificial intelligence training, large-scale simulations, advanced scientific research, national data centers, cloud platforms, and strategic computing systems. If intelligence is the new resource, NVIDIA is building the mines, the refineries, and the pipelines. In the modern world, advantage is no longer about ideas. Ideas are everywhere. Advantages comes from scale. How fast can systems learn? How large can they grow? How efficiently can they operate? These questions are not answered by ambition. They are answered by compute. And NVIDIA dominates high-performance compute. Not because of one product, but because of an entire stack: hardware, software, developer tools, and ecosystem familiarity. This makes NVIDIA difficult to replace, not by force, but by complexity. Here is what most people miss. NVIDIA's power is not imposed. It is accepted. Developers build on its platforms. Institutions standardize around its systems. Governments design infrastructure assuming its availability. This creates a subtle form of lock-in. Leaving NVIDIA isn't impossible. It's impractical. You don't switch chips. You redesign systems. You don't change suppliers. You reset timelines. You don't migrate. You rebuild. So dependency deepens, not through coercion, through convenience. Historically, power came from choosing sides. NVIDIA doesn't need to. It sells to corporations. It sells to universities. It sells to governments. It sells across borders. It doesn't compete in ideology. It competes in capability. In an era where intelligence itself is strategic, NVIDIA occupies a rare position, a neutral supplier of a non-neutral resource. That is a powerful place to be. This is not the old model of empire. There are no colonies, no flags, no speeches. This is leverage built into architecture. Whoever controls critical systems doesn't need to command outcomes. They influence speed. They influence cost. They influence feasibility. They influence direction. NVIDIA doesn't tell the world what to build. It decides what can be built efficiently. That distinction matters. NVIDIA rarely dominates headlines through controversy because infrastructure doesn't shout, it hums. Its influence shows up quietly in budgets, timelines, capabilities, and limits. The most effective power is the kind people don't argue with because it feels inevitable. Every era eventually asks the same question: should something this essential be this concentrated? This is not a question about good or evil. It is a question about resilience, redundancy, and control. History suggests that when critical systems concentrate, societies eventually respond. But those responses come late, and infrastructure leaders shape decades before they are challenged. NVIDIA is not chasing the future, it is structuring it. Oil shaped the last century. Electricity reshaped societies. Compute will define the next era. And NVIDIA sits at the center of that transformation. Quietly, decisively, structurally. If you want to understand how global power, technology, and economic systems are really evolving, visit manishgoswami.com. Subscribe to the channel at Manish Sarji for deep, grounded analysis on world economy and strategic shifts. And connect for brand strategy, career planning, and education consultancy. Because in the modern world, those who understand infrastructure understand power.